In this podcast episode, the host speaks with Dr. Rizwan Virk, a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, video game pioneer, and best-selling author who delves deep into the simulation hypothesis. Dr. Virk's unique background, spanning technology, quantum physics, and mystical traditions, positions him to provide a comprehensive look at simulation theory, not merely as a science fiction idea, but as a bridge connecting spirituality, science, and technology. The conversation begins with his personal health crisis, a borderline heart attack that forced him to reconsider his life's trajectory. This event catalyzed his journey into writing and exploring the simulation hypothesis, a concept that had been germinating in his mind throughout years in the tech and gaming industry. During his recovery, Dr. Virk experienced vivid visions encompassing Tibetan monks and metaphoric conversations, which he describes as a kind of soul-level guidance. These hypnagogic states, combined with his venture capitalist and startup background, particularly in the gaming industry, allowed him to see life through the lens of quests and gameplay. This fusion of lived experience and simulation theory laid the foundation for his book, The Simulation Hypothesis, Second Edition, where he weaves together multiple disciplines to engage with the age-old question, are we living in a simulated reality? One of the most compelling themes Dr. Virk emphasizes is the potential for simulation theory to unite two often oppositional spheres, the technoscientific worldview and mystical or spiritual traditions. Often, scientific communities dismiss religious and near-death experiences, NDEs, as delusions or falsehoods, while religious followers might reject scientific explanations that challenge literal interpretations of sacred texts. Dr. Virk suggests that the simulation hypothesis offers a metaphorical and scientific framework that can reconcile these conflicting views. He explains that many religious traditions articulate ideas, such as forgetfulness upon incarnation or layered veils between human awareness and ultimate reality, in metaphorical terms that suit the technology and understanding of their times. The simulation hypothesis updates these metaphors, recasting ancient descriptions of angels, portals, and veils as computational analogs like rendering engines, memory caches, or virtual reality headsets. In this way, the hypothesis fosters interdisciplinary dialogue across physics, philosophy, religion, and anthropology, opening the door to shared understanding and a broader conception of reality. Dr. Virk draws extensively on quantum physics to underpin the simulation argument, emphasizing the quantum observer effect. This phenomenon reveals that quantum particles exist in probabilities, a superposition of states, until an observation collapses this wave function into a defined state. Traditional physics struggles to explain why the act of observation determines reality, but simulation theory interprets this as a rendering optimization similar to those used in video game design. Just as a game engine only renders what a player's avatar directly observes to save computational resources, so too might the universe render reality as it is observed. He recounts his experience with early virtual reality ping-pong games, where despite crude graphics, the physics engine quickly tricked his brain into reacting as though the experience was real. This real-world example illustrates how immersive digital environments can simulate reality, suggesting that an advanced future simulation might similarly fool conscious beings. Moreover, concepts from cosmology, such as space-time being an emergent phenomenon and information conservation laws, are consistent with viewing the universe as fundamentally informational and computational. The podcast shifts to exploring what Dr. Virk refers to as glitches in the simulation, focusing on phenomena like the Mandela effect. Named after widespread false memories of Nelson Mandela dying in prison, the Mandela effect encapsulates situations where large groups of people remember historical facts or pop culture differently than official records indicate. Examples discussed include misremembered logos, movie quotes, and scriptural passages. Dr. Virk initially dismissed these collective memory discrepancies as simple errors, but gradually came to appreciate that they might be explained by multiple timelines or iterations of a running simulation. Running simulations multiple times with adjusted variables could produce alternate realities or subtle changes that propagate through individual memories. These glitches could thus be viewed less as errors and more as clues or reminders pointing to the constructed nature of reality, urging an expansion of awareness beyond conventional materialist perspectives. Building on anomalies in memory, Dr. Virk ventures into the realm of precognitive dreams and near-death experiences, NDEs, as further indications of a simulated reality. He recounts his personal precognitive dream involving a competitor in the startup industry, a dream he had before receiving real-world confirmation of the competitor's product launch, which defies conventional understanding of cause and effect. Near-death experiences also receive a detailed examination. Survivors commonly report profound out-of-body experiences, encounters with transcendent beings, life reviews, and a sense of interconnectedness with others' emotions. Dr. Virk interprets these experiences as potential access points to the broader informational field that underpins the simulation. He discusses the dynamic life previews described by subjects hypnotically regressed between lives, likening them to choose-your-own-adventure flowcharts, which include planned or contingent life milestones. Both precognitive phenomena and NDEs suggest continuity of consciousness beyond a purely physical existence and hint at a framework where players, outside the simulation, may influence or observe the experience. The discussion also focuses on how ancient spiritual traditions eerily parallel aspects of simulation theory, which might explain their lasting resonance across cultures. The podcast highlights the consistent motif of forgetfulness when incarnating, such as rivers of forgetfulness in Greek mythology, the tea of forgetfulness in Chinese lore, and veils in Sufi Islam. These are framed not as literal descriptions, but as metaphoric representations of the entry protocol into the simulation, where the player forgets their identity to fully live the game within the avatar. Dr. Virk shares insights about the theological role of angels as metaphorical processes or functions, such as recording angels who chronicle deeds rather than literal supernatural beings. This interpretation opens up reading religious texts with a modern technological framework, breaking down cultural barriers between faith groups while preserving their profound core messages. The podcast explores how such traditions describe a layered consciousness reality capable of transcending physical limitations and how this aligns with the simulation hypothesis. The episode's title foregrounds another provocative subject: whether advanced extraterrestrial beings could be behind this simulation. Dr. Virk explores hypotheses wherein aliens are not just distant life forms, but possibly creator entities or custodians of the simulation framework. Drawing from researchers like Avi Loeb and Iranian Ayatollahs who discuss metaphysical cosmologies, the podcast suggests that these aliens could be post-biological artificial intelligences who have evolved beyond physical limitations. The zoo hypothesis is mentioned, positing that advanced civilizations might be monitoring humanity from afar, managing our technological growth, or preventing us from causing interstellar chaos. The concept of stacked simulations emerges, that what we perceive as aliens could be projections or controlled entities within nested layers of simulation. Dr. Virk also compares historical non-human being encounters such as Jinn or Fae with modern alien abduction stories, proposing a continuity filtered through cultural frames and simulation parameters rather than literal, physical invasions. The podcast delves deeply into where humanity currently stands on the path toward realizing the simulation point, the moment when virtual worlds become indistinguishable from physical reality and AI characters merge seamlessly with biological entities. Dr. Virk draws parallels between the video game industry's progress, virtual and augmented reality, AI's advance, and the concept of the technological singularity, where exponential innovations fundamentally alter the human condition. The consequences of this evolution on mental health and social structures are considered seriously. The speakers discuss phenomena such as increased attention disorders and dependence on technology among younger generations, highlighting how these trends suggest we are already partially merged with digital realities. This convergence raises important ethical and existential questions about identity, free will, and what it means to be human when our brains and machines co-evolve. Moving beyond abstract theory, the hosts and Dr. Virk address practical life implications of simulation thinking. Viewing personal challenges as quests within a grander storyline can instill resilience rather than despair. Dr. Virk recounts how his own health crises acted as course corrections, a metaphorical game mechanic nudging him back onto his true path as a writer and thinker. This frame allows individuals to reinterpret suffering, obstacles, and emotional pain as meaningful experiences that serve growth and awakening. The theory also proposes that each player or consciousness may have selected their own challenges before incarnation, highlighting the importance of personal purpose and choice within the simulation. The life review during NDEs emphasizes empathy and moral accountability, suggesting the game rewards compassionate interaction over selfish behavior. Thus, simulation theory offers both existential comfort and motivation to engage the world with love and intentionality. The rapid rollout of advanced technologies, including social media algorithms, AI-generated video, and virtual environments, raises significant concerns about societal well-being. The podcast touches on Collingridge's dilemma, which states that the consequences of new technologies often remain unknown until wide adoption causes irreversible changes. Despite early warnings from countercultural and spiritual communities, platforms designed for maximizing engagement often exacerbate polarization and mental health crises. Dr. Virk urges for more cautious, mindful development of technology, countering tendencies in capitalism that prioritize profit over humanity's collective good. The rise of AI-generated synthetic reality content, customizable entertainment, and personalized immersive metaverses pushes us toward fragmented shared realities, complicating truth and trust. This technical evolution underscores simulation theory's contemporary relevance and serves as a catalyst for societal and ethical reflection. Popular culture becomes a useful prism through which simulation ideas crystallize and spread. Dr. Virk references iconic films like The Matrix and The 13th Floor that dramatize simulation scenarios, influencing public imagination. He also highlights lesser-known works, such as Black Mirror episodes that explore branching outcomes and the blurring of identity between AI and human consciousness. This reflection includes attention to how advanced AI video generation and narrative branching increasingly resemble the mechanisms hypothesized in simulation theory. Equally important are the metaphoric stories embedded in science fiction, which anticipate or mirror technological advancements. The conversation shows how media both reflects and shapes our understanding of simulated realities, while serving as cautionary tales or sources of inspiration in parallel to scientific research and spiritual inquiry.